What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Thai Life channel. Today I want to show you how to do medium short stilettos. How are we going to shape a square tips into stilettos? Well, I'm going to show you all of that in this video in real time. So usually the preparation takes me around 20 to 30 minutes. Depends on the nails and depends on the shape that we're doing. And as you all know, when it comes to doing nails, applying tips is very important, but the shape of the nails is going to make it very important for the nails and the look of the nails. It doesn't matter what color, what kind of design you put on there, but if your shape is out of control, your nail is out of control. And we don't want your nails to be out of control. We want your nails to be in control. So of course, we're going to go in with this beautiful, natural, curved square tips. These kind of tips right here, you can actually get them in any type of beauty store. They're very typical tips. These tips has been around for decades, and you're still using it. If you go into a lot of nail salons, they're gonna use these kind of tips, and they can transform these kind of tips into any type of shape that you want. So of course, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the tips on. But of course, before I apply the tips, I rough up the natural nails, get all the oil base out. I'm gonna go in and apply the tips. Applying tips is so important when it comes to making sure that the tips is straight. Nobody want no crooked nails. So what we want to do is we want to take the tips, and first we have to measure the size of the tips. This tips has to match with the fingernails that you're applying. It cannot be too thick or too small. It has to fit perfectly from corner to corner. And in order for you to get the tips nice and straight onto the nail, you're going to go ahead and take it, bring it to the top of the knuckle, and run it straight down to the finger that you're applying the tips on. That is some technique that is very valuable when it comes to doing tips application, is taking the tips from the top knuckle, rolling it down to the fingertips of the nails. I do that all the time, and I never make any type of mistake. But the best part about using these square tips and forming the shape is because you can readjust the shape, meaning if you apply the tips on a little bit crooked, you can actually shape it up and make it straight again. And that's the advantage. If you use the pre-shaped tips, the tips is already pre-shaped. So because of that, it's very hard for you to really make any type of adjustment if you apply the tips on crooked. Okay? And a lot of new generation nail tech or even clients are gonna say, why are we still using curved tips when they have straight tips? Well, to answer that question for you, and that just depends on the clients, and that just depends on the nail condition that you're dealing with. If you have a client whose nails are very flat, as you can see, the client that I'm applying tips on, she has really flat nails. Most of the pre-shaped straight tips are very curvy on the application. And that does not work with every type of nails. Because if I'm using a curved tip on a flat surface nail, I have to make the curved tip kind of flat. And by doing that, sometimes I might end up breaking the plastic tips of the tips. Okay? And you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you're going to pick the tips that is accordingly to the client's nails that you're dealing with. And that is how you determine the right type of tips for the nails. You use the same type of tips throughout the whole service and to everyone, it's not going to look right. You can try, but it might create some irritation on the client's nails if it doesn't fit correctly and you're forcing it in. As you can see, during this part right here, I really stay concentrated in terms of making sure the length is straight. At this moment right here, I'm really observing the client's finger, because it's weird that it's always the middle finger that is always the crooked one. And we got to be careful about that. From my experience dealing with thousands of fingernails, I seen it. It's always the middle finger. So you got to be a little bit careful. When you guys are applying the glue onto the tips, there's several ways of doing it. You can actually do it by applying the glue onto the natural fingernail, and you place the tip and you spread out the glue. I don't like to do it that way. I like to spread the glue, as you can see, right on the edge of the tips. I bring it down, and I'm going to go ahead and spread the glue that way. I don't know why I like it to do like that, but I have seen other nail tech does it the other way where they put the glue on top of the fingernails. So it doesn't matter which way. As long as you're able to cover the glue and the tips fully, then you're good. If you apply the tips on and you notice there's some kind of air bubble, as a nail tech, your goal is to cover up all that bubble. We don't want no type of bubble because it means the glue has not created into that gap. And you do not want that. What you want to do is if things gets really worse, replace the brand new tips. But if you try to squeeze glue between the gap and it works, then you can take that route. Because you're probably thinking, well, what if the glue spread onto the nail? Well, hold your horses, hold your horses. See what I'm doing? I'm creating glue around the edges. After cutting down the length of the client's nails, I'm always going to go in with the paper band one last time before I do the application to really smooth out the surface. As you all know, everything we do on the nails, we want to make sure that we are creating a smooth surface. Everything you do, smooth surface, is going to make your job a lot easier. As you guys are doing this, I'm showing you guys this in real time. You guys can see my station, how organized I am. I don't have everything laying out. Everything I do is very efficient. Everything I do, I want to make sure that I'm putting stuff back the right way where it was. The more efficient you are, the faster you're able to work and the more time you're going to save for the next client. In this industry, the goal is to get the next clients. And you're probably thinking like, what if I give them a lot of time? You can say that, but it's all up to you. The longer you take in each service, the slower you're going to make that money. Time is your friend in this industry, and it's not asking you to rush, but really work consistently to really bring in that income and work the right amount of hours so that you ain't out there working 15 hours a day because you're slow. I don't want you to get there. So now we're going to go ahead and cut down the length of what the clients want. As I say earlier, we are going to do a stiletto shape on this length. And a lot of times stilettos, you got to have them kind of from the medium to a long length. It's rare that you see stilettos really short. Is it possible? Yes, it is. It is a little bit more narrow in terms of making it sharp, which the client should already know that if they are asking for short stilettos. Okay, but in this case right here, we're looking more like a medium to a, it's not too short, but more like a medium stilettos. And as you can see, I'm cutting down the length. I'm eliminating the curve of the tips. And that's what a lot of nail techs are worried about. Is because, oh my God, how do you shape when there's a curve? It doesn't look nice. Everything has this process, and you just gotta trust the process when you're doing nails. Because you don't trust the process not gonna trust you. And that's when you're gonna struggle in this career. And as you all know, I don't want you to struggle in this career. I want you guys to really advance in this career. And if you really love what you've been hearing so far, please give me a thumbs up. Please share this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. All I do is really educate you and help you grow as a nail technician and really relate to your life, relate to your stories, understanding how hard it is to grow in this industry and share that with you. So as I am about to cut down the length of her nails, when it comes to cutting the second hand, I'm really just eyeballing it. I'm not really just making sure it's 100% because I can do that afterward. So after I cut down both of the hands, I'm going to go ahead and put the two fingers exactly together, starting from the cuticle, measuring all the way from the tips. Any tips that you see outgrow the other tips, you cut that down to even out the nails. And that's how you keep the nails consistently even. At this moment right here, I'm starting a little conversation with the clients, but not too much because I really want to enjoy. I think the moment that we really connect is when we do the application because it's just so satisfying when the clients are looking at you doing your application. But in this video, I just want to focus on really establishing that stiletto shape. I want you to create that beautiful stiletto shape with any type of tips because if you don't have those pre-shaped tips, and also I find that stiletto looks so nice with the little curve on it. That's why I like to use this square curve tips because stiletto, when you have them too sharp, but what if the fingernail sticks up? Now it looks weird. But with this little curve, it's gonna make that stiletto really nice and clean, very aerodynamic. So here I am, continue on connecting the length. Throughout this process, I'm actually telling my client, is this length okay for you? I'm reaffirming with them that, hey, is everything all right? I want to make this process as comfortable as possible for the clients, because you never know what the clients have been through in terms of getting the nails done. There's a lot of clients out there who got stories for days about bad nails experience, bad service. They don't want to go into the salon anymore. Is because of a bad experience. And you don't want to do that as a nail tech. You want to make this service very satisfying. So after I measure the length, I am going to go in and use this little scissor to cut the tips side to side and forming that stiletto shape. During this part right here, it's really about eyeballing it. Okay, there's really no measurement. There's really no, um, what size that you need to cut. At this point, you should know as a nail tech what a stiletto shape looks like. And your goal when you are cutting the side is to cut it into that stiletto shape. Don't go mayhem and cut it too much on the side and you shift too much. What I usually do is if I cut one on the left, I cut one on the right. If I cut one on the right, I cut one on the left. You just have to create that balance. And everything you do, you gotta keep it center. Okay, look at the fingernails and where the sharp point of the stiletto has to be center to the nails. Okay, that is the goal. At this moment, use your eyes, observe, concentrate, and create. Okay, concentrate and create, because that's what you do as a nail tech. Okay, this is where clients are paying you. Okay, this is where you are earning your big bucks in the nail industry, is when you're able to shape like this. Okay, people pay for the shape, people pay for the application, people pay for the design. Okay, be good at these things when you guys are doing it. Okay, I want you guys to really advance in the shaping, because like I say, the shaping is your bread and butter in this industry. Okay, anything that you do, when your shape stands out, everything will stand out. Okay, so as I am cutting it, I'm really concentrating, y'all. I'm really making sure that I'm getting this point. Does it have to be perfect yet? No, it doesn't. And why am I not cutting it too much towards the side? Is because I have to go in with my hand file and really create that stiletto shape. So again, just use the scissor as a brainstorm. And any tools that I use, the scissors, the files, the tips, I actually have a link in my description. And all you have to do is just click on the link. It will show you all the items that I actually use on my clients at my nail station, just to help you out. So you don't have to go out there asking yourself, what do I need? How do I set things up? It's all there in one link for you. And if you want to get to know me more, of course, there's also my Instagram, my TikTok, just things that I do to connect with all my nail community people and really the clients. If you as a nail tech, you want to make sure you find a way to connect with the clients as all. Always find a system that works for you to expose yourself and be consistent. Okay, you got to be consistent. So here comes the filing part. As I am going to file the nails, okay, I am going to create a very nice soft touch. I'm not going to create a hard filing. Why? Is because I'm filing on the tips. I'm not filing on acrylics. When you are filing on acrylic, you can go in a little bit more rough. But when you are just filing on the natural tips, you can take your time, because it does file them very fast. So don't over file. I've seen people over file and shift with shape to a certain direction, and you do not want to do that. So take your time. As you can see, I'm just kind of slightly going up and down, keeping everything nice and straight. You see, everything has to be nice and straight. Take your time. Like I say, I cannot rush during this moment. That's why I had to show you this in real time. It's so hard for me to speed this up, because I really want you to get the full scope, that it doesn't matter how fast I try to work. It really takes around 20 to 30 minutes just for the preparation before you do the application. So kudos to the nail techs out there in the salon who can bust out a fill in 30 minutes. I don't care how fast you work. I don't like to work in that stress level, okay? When it comes to doing nail, I want to relax too, you know? The reason why I enjoy doing nail is because I'm my own boss. I make my own schedule. I work at my own pace. That's why I did not work for corporation. I used to work for corporation and they work you like a dog. They tell you want to take a break. They tell you want to take a lunch. They tell you what you need to do. Even if you finish your task, they still tell you that they don't like it. They want you to redo it. You know how it is if you're working for the corporation, y'all. They are never satisfied because they want you to keep working hard for them. In the nail industry, you are your own boss. You make your own steps. You make your own bed. You make your own routine. But you gotta work hard because sometimes these kind of freedom that you get being a nail tech can make you too comfortable. And when you're too comfortable, you're gonna create laziness. And you don't want to be lazy because that means you're gonna lower yourself and make nothing in this industry. And you're gonna hate yourself for that. And I don't want you to hate yourself for that. What I want you to do is grow. You know that. And in order to grow, it takes hard work. I don't care what anybody say, you know. Everything has a price to pay, right? You want to make X amount of dollars, you got to put in X amount of time, you know. But at the end of the day, you are your own boss, work at your own pace. I see a lot of nail techs out there, y'all. They busting out full set for 40 minutes, 30 minutes, but it's not fun because they not doing any design. They just doing a one solid color set, and they just kind of get you in and out. And imagine like you start your day and you just gotta rush out your day. I don't like that because I look at nail like an art. Art takes time, and when you do art, it gotta be enjoyable, right? It gotta be like something that, oh my god, you're excited for, and then when you're excited, you make the clients also excited, right? I mean, that is the joy you should bring to your clients at every single nail service. If you hear what I'm saying, you know what I mean? That's why I cannot rush, y'all. But am I slow? No. If you watch any of my previous video, I even go live. A lot of the set I do takes around an hour, 15 minutes to an hour, 30 minutes. That's also including design. But hey, that is the right amount of time to create quality work on the client's nails. And you have to seek for quality, y'all. That is why you notice I'm still filing. I'm still taking my time to make sure the shape looks good. You see, even though I'm not filing hard, but it got to look right. Especially this, as you can see, as we filing it, the length doesn't look long anymore. It's not even to that medium length because that's what happened when you form the shape. The length change, especially with stilettos. You know, you go from a square to a pointy shape. But look at that, y'all. Let's really look at that shape. I use a square curved shape. I form into a stiletto. It looks clean, right? Yes, it takes more time, but you can charge clients for specialty of the shape. You know, that's why it's so important that we know how to do this shape, y'all, because these are called specialty shapes. You know, they're not just some nails that you cut down and it's there for you. And when I shape, look how I'm holding the client's hand, y'all. Very comfortably, very gently. Always got to make sure that, you know, they are relaxed. I'm comfortable because this should not be rough, y'all. The filing can be scary. A lot of clients have stories where they get cut on the side of the cuticles. That's because the nail tech is rushing. Sometimes the nail tech are new to using a hand file and they don't prep their hand file. You know you have to prep your hand file too, right? Every brand new hand file that you buy, the edges is very sharp. So what you want to do is you get that edge and you get a buffer and you kind of just rub it around the edges to create that nice smoothness on the files, just to prevent any type of cut on the client. And that is another thing that they don't teach you that in school because you have to learn that through experience. Yes, I have cut people when I was starting out, but you kind of learn how to hold the clients. A lot of nail techs cannot wear nails and their nails doesn't last is because they always have to sacrifice one of their finger, their thumb, just during this filing part. And they get torn up, y'all. And that's why it's hard for nail tech to keep their nails on deck. You know what I mean? But as we are continue on, I'm just kind of slowly shifting it, you know, taking my time. At this moment, the client is very happy, okay? And the client is very happy because they be like, wow, you know, my nails are looking good. I love the shape. And a lot of times when clients are getting stiletto shape, you have two type of clients. The one that always gets stiletto so they know what's up. And you also get that clients who they just want to try out that stiletto shape because they seen it, they've been wanting it, they're afraid if they're able to function on it. So same thing with this client that I'm doing. She's excited because she never really had anybody do a very nice stiletto for her. You know what I mean? And I'm excited that I'm able to give her that. So a lot of people always ask me, how come you don't use pre-shaped stiletto tips? Okay. Well, let me point out some stuff for you. Are you going to buy every single stiletto pre-shaped tips with different size and length? Or why don't you just create it yourself? Because if you go out and you buy a pre-shaped stiletto tips, a lot of times they're long tips. Or you can get them a medium length or medium size. But you know, in the nail world, the client is very opinionated. They might not even want the length that you have. You can have 300 colors out there, right? And they still don't know what color to pick. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is when you go out and you spend all this money on this pre-shaped stilettos, you're wasting money and you're only going to use that on certain type of clients. And on top of that, there are certain size that they make with these pre-shaped tips that doesn't fit the fingernail. Sometimes it's too big, sometimes it's too small. That's why I'm trying to teach you how to do a stiletto shape using a regular square tips. So that one of these days, you don't have to go out your way and buy these random tips. You don't have to do none of that. All you have to do is just get the tips that you have already, apply it on the clients, cut it into the shape, file it into the shape, and that's pretty much it, y'all. That's how simple it is, but we just need to get with the program. Just because it's trending, the fact that, oh, straight tip is better, it just depends on the nails. It just depends on the nails, and it just depends on what the clients want. As a nail tech, you have to be open to different things. Don't narrow yourself down to one thing just because you find it working for you. Okay? What works for you today might not work for you in the long run. So as a nail tech, it is good that we continue to learn. We continue to re-establish what we already learned. Okay? What you learn today, you might not use it in the next 5 years, but you will use it in the next 10 years. And you don't want to forget about that. Like, for example, sculpting. Back in the day, nobody wanted sculpting. It was all tips, tips, tips. Now, sculpting has become a premium price set. You charge people more for doing sculpting. But back in the day, sculpting was nothing. Nobody wanted sculpting. It was cheap. It was all about tips. You see what I'm saying? So now, if sculpting is in and you're not used to doing sculpting because you haven't done for a while, what you going to do? You're going to not do that? That's what I'm trying to say, my friend. Re-establish the technique, continue learning new technique, and reverse it again. And that is what the nail industry brings to you. That is everything the nail industry brings to you. Back in the day, I done stilettos, you know? But a lot of people didn't ask for it. Now, more people ask for stilettos. Even duck feet. Back in the day, people were asking for duck feet. Today, you don't hear about it, but you know in the future, somebody's going to bring it back. So that's what I'm trying to say. We don't exclude any design in the nail industry because the nail world is a big world of change. People change constantly. And today, my friend, I hope you learned something about stiletto shaped nails. I hope you're able to shape this shape in any type of form tips. You know, don't be afraid. Just take your time. As you can see, 25 minutes in, and I'm about to do the application. But this is how you shape. Once you do the application, the shape is still there. You just touch it up, flush down the cuticle with the electric file, do the design that the clients want, put the colors that the clients want, and that's all you have to do. And that's how simple it is, y'all. And if you enjoyed this video so far, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share this video. and really continue to support in this nail community. This is awesome, y'all. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all. At the end, this is how it's gonna look like, y'all. That's her shape. That's her design. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on my next video.